Active Directory runs your workplace. It controls every login, every permission, and every computer in a company. Let me show you how. Say you have 200 people working in your company. Each of these people need a computer. How do you manage all of these computers easily? How do you get people to log into the company's network? If somebody leaves the company, how do you revoke their access? How do you know who is in your company and what they do? And finally, what if your company expands? Now you have several offices all over the country and many more employees. Well, to answer all of these questions, let's use an analogy. Your company is a castle and Active Directory is the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper knows everyone in the castle, and so he knows who's allowed in. He also gives out the keys to which rooms you're allowed to access. In a castle, there are rooms that are public and rooms that are guarded. Scribes shouldn't have access to the armory, whereas knights should. Just like in a business, there are folders that should only be accessed by HR and other folders that should be accessible to everyone. If somebody is banished from the castle, the gatekeeper removes their key and they're locked out instantly. Active Directory lists everyone in the business. It shows their names, job titles, and login credentials. It is where you can change someone's password or unblock someone if they've exceeded the limit for incorrect password attempts. It also lists what groups a user belongs to. You can have security groups and distribution groups. A security group dictates permissions for users. An example of a security group is the domain admins group. They have access to everything over the entire domain, whereas a distribution group is specifically for email, distributing email to whoever is in that group. These security groups are how certain folders can only be accessible to certain people. For HR, you would create a HR security group in Active Directory and add the relevant members. Then set the security settings of the folder so that only the HR security group are able to view or modify this folder. If somebody from finance tried to access this HR folder, they would get a prompt saying they don't have access. If somebody leaves the company, Active Directory makes it easier to revoke their access. A user in a company will have many different applications they use daily. For example, let's say our user has Git, Jira, Slack, Zoom, and Salesforce. Without Active Directory, if the user left the company, I would have to manually go through each account and disable it, which creates the risk of human error. What if I forgot to disable one of these accounts? And instead of the user leaving amicably, what if they were fired? They might have a reason to exploit this mistake I made, which would put the business at a risk. Now let's say you do have Active Directory. All of these accounts would have been logged into using their Active Directory credentials. And when the user left the company, all I'd have to do is disable this one account, preventing them from logging in and accessing any of these applications, completely stopping any future issues. So how does all of this work in practice? Every single person in the business, from interns to the CEO, is listed within Active Directory. The system gives each user one username and one password for everything, enabling single sign-on. To protect the company, you can enforce complex passwords across the entire network. And as the business grows, Active Directory provides centralized management for everyone, regardless of their location. So to recap, Active Directory is the central system in a company that manages users, devices, logins, and permissions. And if you want to start a successful career in IT, it is definitely worth learning and getting hands-on experience with, as it's used in pretty much every business you can think of. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you want more IT made easy, make sure to subscribe.